Something comes in handy.
Yeah, but definitely still got some game. Board sweeps I feel like are really important right now because of the popularity of some of the flood decks like Odd Cost Paladin. And they did lose Netherspite Historian, which was a way to get additional Dustbreaker, so you have to rely on natural Dustbreaker draws. And that's why Wild Pyromancer, which also has synergy with your deck and drawing cards with Northshire Cleric, has been making its way through. But let's go into game number 2. Savjz going to play the Paladin again, whereas RDU looks like he's going for an Odd Cost Quest Warrior.
It's not odd cost though, TJ. Look at that.
Whoa, it's not
little
odd
raptors.
cost.
It is
Right.
it is just Quest Warrior.
Oh, man.
Maybe he didn't pull Baku the Moon Eater, so he
Yeah.
felt really bad and he wanted to just build Quest Warrior anyways.
Yeah, and there's actually some interesting stuff in here. It looks like it's just trying to complete the quest as quick as possible. It's got a lot of low-cost taunts, Tar Creeper, Stonehills, Phantom Militia, Cornered Sentry. But it's also got some tempo stuff like some Rush Minions, Militia Commander Darius Crowley. And then it's got Blackwalled Pixie, which allows you to reset your hero power once it's played. It's a 3-mana 3/4, which I can imagine is fantastic later on in the game when you equip Soul Frost, change your hero power to deal 8 damage to a random enemy, and then start firing off 8 damage blasts. Hopefully to your opponent's face.
Yes, that's the card I'm most excited to see how it interacts inside of this deck, because dealing 16 damage in one turn is very powerful, but against this Paladin deck, I mean, 1/1s could just get in the way. So 1/1s could take one for the team and sacrifice themselves for 16 damage.
Yeah. But Corner Sentry plus Whirlwind. It is going to work against RDU in the sense that Savjz has a Corridor Creeper.
I don't think Savjz is too upset about that.
Yeah.
Savjz can play the Henge Clan Thug that Admiral and I were talking about earlier, and that card has been putting in some work, TJ.
Yes, it has.
He's been putting in some overtime in the Henge Clan offices.
Putting in some thuggin'.
Some thuggin' overtime.
So I'm curious how he wants to play out this turn, because he can trade in his 2/1 in attack to get out Corridor Creeper. But he doesn't actually get through the Cornered Sentry if he does that, so it's a little bit of an inefficient way to go about it.
I think Savjz needs to get this Corridor Creeper down this turn just to try and put as many stats on the board as possible. And Savjz also wants to swing. I guess maybe playing Arch-Inspire, but I really like getting Corridor Creeper down. I think what Savjz is thinking here is that if he commits to the Corridor Creeper, he has to trade off the minion, and then it leaves his Henge Clan Thug vulnerable to the 2/1 currently on the board.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, Savjz probably doesn't know what's in RDU's decks, especially since Baku the Moon Eater didn't come out. So, I mean, Savjz might have been expecting, I can kind of guess what the odd cost cards will be, but RDU doesn't have only just odd cost cards. He's got everything. And, I mean, we can see that with the Primordial Drake, and that was one of the key cards in past Taunt Warrior metas.
Yeah, there's a few cards that are even cost that you give up when you're playing odd cost Quest Warrior that help you deal with wide board states, notably Warpath, which was a new addition, which is the Echo Whirlwind effect, and also Bloodraiser, which is a fantastic card for dealing with wide board floods, which even cost and odd cost paladins do that alike. So he realized, and Primordial Drake. So just a bunch of board sweeps that kind of make the deck more consistent against the faster styles, but don't give you that extra armor up. But if your opponent just keeps flooding the board and you're just trying to armor out of it, a lot of times that's less effective than just removing the board in the first place.
That's a very strong read from RDU, recognizing that this odd cost card Paladin is so popular and a lot of people are bringing it, that he said, you know what, I'm just going to beat it with Whirlwind effects. I mean, sometimes that's all it takes is just a couple of Whirlwind effects.
Yeah.
However, RDU's hand right now is looking a little clunky. The Cauldron. There it is. The mythical Cauldron. I've heard legends of this Cauldron, DJ. Solvi. Legends of hexes, frost shocks,
An
unstable evolution on the Corridor Creeper. All right, I'm putting Witch's Cauldron in all of my decks for the rest of the expansion.
This is fantastic. He's gonna get another Shaman spell. He can trade in the Corridor Creeper and then Unstable Evolution to bring that Corridor Creeper to an 8-cost minion. Geo Sculptor Yip?
It's not the greatest, but it has a lot of stats on it.
It has a lot of stats. I believe that's the card that at the end of your turn summons a random minion equal to the cost of your armor.
Yes, and no real way for Savjz to generate armor.
How about we get a Shudder Walk?
9-drop.
Oh!
I wonder if Savjz is so emotionally attached to this Witch's Cauldron that he doesn't cast Unstable Evolution on it.
I think
He's
so.
gonna cast it again. Tyrantus!
All right, that's
Lord Jaraxxus was good.
That's fantastic, especially considering one of the ways that Warrior deals with big threats is execute, and you cannot execute a Tyrantus.
Now, if only RDU can cast Warpath 12 times, he might be able to answer this Tyrantus.
That's a bold, bold statement.
How much mana? 24 mana? It's a lot of mana, TJ, in order to kill the Tyrantus, but there is no way RDU can deal. And RDU just going to hit the concede button and say, you know what? That was too much for me. You okay over there, TJ?
Yeah, my headset's a little stuck.
And Savjz is going to